Have you ever had this happen? You're talking with your friends and suddenly someone asks, "Do you remember the name of that actor from that movie?" You know exactly who they're talking about. You can picture their face, you remember scenes from the movie. You can even remember their voice. But no matter how hard you try, you just can't remember their name. So you start thinking harder. You search your memory again and again. You become more frustrated every minute because you know the answer is somewhere inside your brain. But nothing comes out. Eventually, you give up. A few hours later, while you're taking a shower, washing the dishes, driving home, or simply lying in bed, out of nowhere, the name suddenly appears. No one asked you again. You weren't even thinking about it anymore. Yet somehow your brain quietly says, "Hey, it's Leonardo DiCaprio." And you're left wondering, where did that answer come from? Did your brain keep searching even after you stopped thinking about it? The surprising answer is, yes, your brain is doing much more work than you realize. Most people think thinking only happens when they're consciously focusing on something. They believe that once they stop thinking about a problem, their brain completely stops working on it. But that's not how your brain works. Imagine your brain as a huge office building. The part of your brain you're aware of is like the manager sitting at the front desk. When you're actively solving a problem, the manager is working. But behind that manager are thousands of employees working in different departments. Even after the manager goes home, many of those employees continue doing their jobs. Your brain works in a similar way. When you stop consciously searching for a name or trying to solve a difficult problem, other brain networks can continue processing information in the background. Scientists sometimes call this unconscious processing. Your conscious mind takes a break, but your brain doesn't completely stop. Instead, it quietly keeps making connections between memories, experiences, and pieces of information you've stored over the years. Think about your computer for a moment. Sometimes you close a program, but your computer is still running updates or processing files in the background. You don't see it happening. But it's still working. Your brain does something similar. And here's the interesting part. Sometimes your conscious thinking actually gets in the way. The harder you force yourself to remember something, the more pressure you create. It's almost like trying to fall asleep. The more you tell yourself, "I have to sleep right now," the harder it becomes. Memory can work the same way. When you're desperately searching for a name, your brain becomes stuck, following the same mental path over and over again. It's like searching for your keys by looking in the same drawer 10 times. Taking a break allows your brain to search different places. That's why the answer often appears when you're doing something completely unrelated. Your attention relaxes, your stress decreases, and suddenly the missing connection becomes available. This doesn't only happen with names. It happens with programming bugs, math problems, business ideas, writing stories, even everyday decisions. Have you ever spent hours trying to fix a bug in your code? Nothing worked. Then you went to eat dinner or took a shower. Suddenly, you realized exactly what was wrong. Many programmers joke that the best debugger is walking away from the keyboard. As funny as that sounds, there's actually some truth behind it. When your brain is relaxed, it becomes better at connecting information in new ways. That is why some of history's greatest discoveries didn't happen while people were desperately staring at their work. They happened during walks, during breaks, during quiet moments. Not because those places were magical, but because the brain had room to think differently. So the next time you forget someone's name, don't panic. Don't immediately assume your memory is bad. The information may still be there. Your brain just hasn't found the right path to reach it yet. Try focusing on something else for a while. Go for a walk, take a shower, make some coffee, do something completely different. You might be surprised when the answer suddenly appears all by itself, because your brain is never as inactive as it seems. Even when you think you've stopped thinking, part of your mind is still quietly working behind the scenes. And maybe that's one of the most amazing things about being human. Sometimes the best way to solve a problem isn't to think harder. Sometimes it's to stop thinking for a while and let your brain finish the job.